1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. So this week we've got Nicki back with us for our January content, I guess. So as we all know, Nicki is going to be a monthly guest with us, and we're going to be talking all things branding or Facebook ads or SEO or whatever's going on at the time. So this week we wanted to talk about branding and the importance of branding and how it helps you establish your business from the start and help you grow your revenue. So I'm kind of using Nicki here as a case study because she's literally at the stage of a rebrand, which we'll get to in a minute. So Nicki, I'll hand it over. How long have you been in business for now?
Well, hello everyone, and thank you again, Lauren, for having me. It's so fun jumping on these podcasts. I know it's only the second one, but I had such a blast on the first one. So in answer to your question, this is my 5th year in business.
Amazing.
So I started it as a side hustle when I was a marketing manager to what feels like many moons ago now. But yeah, I've been in marketing 20 years, but I've had my business going for nearly 5 years.
That's amazing. All right. So when you first started your business, then when you thought about what you should be doing, where did you go? Where was your thought pattern? What was when you were like in your side hustle phase or whatever, you were like, okay, what do I need to do first?
So when I first started, all I could think about was basically that I needed a logo and I needed a social media profile. And to be honest, I knew I needed a website, but I was getting so many clients already off having social media, but it was because they were, contacts that I already had. But it was definitely the logo was the other factor, but I didn't know that if I was going to continue with my business or if it was going to be a success rather. So I didn't want to spend huge amounts of money on it to start with. And so I basically was thinking, what are the colors? What's the style I want? And the font.
Yeah. Okay. The very simple things that people always think about is always like the aesthetics first, right? So like, what's my logo going to look like? What colors and typography, stuff like that. Cool. All right. So then, did you DIY your current branding or did you go to a designer?
So I actually had a logo prior to the one that I have now. So that one I got off, I think it was a designer on Etsy.
Okay.
So it was somewhat of a template. Okay. So I had that initially, and then within a few months, I ended up getting a designer. I think that was before you started your business.
Yeah.
To come in and because you started a little bit after me. So I had a designer create me my next logo. So part of it was what I wanted, and then the other half I left up to her design abilities because she knows me well, and she knew the approach that I wanted to take and everything. So I kind of let her have a lot of the design reign on that as well. And obviously she checked in with me and asked me what I liked. So that's kind of how the second logo came about. And I've had that logo now for about 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah. So it's been quite a while then. So then when you're saying it was a little bit of what she wanted, a little bit of what you wanted then. So what was important to you then when you were selecting that initial logo for your baby business?
So I'm just trying to think back to what was important. I think I wanted it to look professional, but then also feminine, because most of the companies that I generally was working with were going down that kind of pathway. Yeah. So I would say professional, and then maybe, mostly just professional and maybe female based, I think. And of course, for some reason, we all ended up with pink, or maybe not you, but actually, but I feel like most girls that we've worked with have all had pink in their logo to start with. So, which is kind of funny.
It's actually wild that you said that, because now that I'm thinking about it, I think the very first year that I had started my biz, so in 2020, there was a lot of people starting their business, of course, because of COVID, and everyone wanted to do something, and I remember there was pink everywhere, like pink everything. And I remember thinking, I don't like the color pink anyway, that I was like, I'm not choosing pink. Like, it's just not happening. It's not happening. So it's just funny that like everybody did that at the time.
Yeah, and now the people that started their businesses when we started have all started. There's been a lot of rebrands actually within the last probably year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and in terms of the colors, I think I do think that there was more thought into it. I just can't thought put into it. I just can't really remember. I think I might have said I wanted to have this image and this vibe, and she maybe said leave it with me, and I'll pick colors that represent that. So
yeah, fair enough.
I don't think there was a huge amount of strategy put into it, even though I know from a marketing manager background and creating a lot of brands with designers, I know that there's a lot more that goes into it that people don't see.
Yeah, exactly. So then now coming around to like in your 5th year of business, I know that we're about to do a rebrand together, which is so much fun.
Yes.
So I want to ask, so everybody knows, why are you rebranding, and what was like, so first off, why are you rebranding, and what were the signs that you noticed that made you think, okay, a rebrand is definitely on the cards?
So I think initially there was a few people within our space that started rebranding, and, you know, we got on to start having conversations around that. And I know you had been mentioning it to me for a while, like, you need to do a rebrand, you need to do a rebrand. And, you know, Laura and I, we're always doing a million things at once. And I'm like, when am I going to fit this rebrand in? I'm like, I love the idea.
Yeah.
And I love it. But I'm like, I know what it involves. Like, I know it, you know, and I know you're there alongside me to help anyway, but it's still in my head. I knew there was a lot to change. So I'd say probably about 6 months to a year ago, we were at that point about doing the rebrand. And I kept saying to you, once I launched the next SEO program in February this year, that I would come and do it. So we've kind of already started on it. But the reason that what was it? You wanted to know the signs. So the sign, that was like the first, that was kind of like the first step. And then I guess I started to realize that maybe what I was offering and what the messaging and the brand that I was putting out there didn't necessarily align with the direction that I wanted to take. So it didn't align with the direction. It wasn't aligning with the types of clients and students that I wanted to necessarily attract, and how I wanted to position myself in the marketplace. So it just became really obvious because of all those things that I really needed to rebrand. And when we went through, Soren does these things called, is it the archetype?
Yeah, the archetypes, the
brand archetype. So
the
brand archetype. So basically it's like your brand or your business personality. So we went through a series of questions to work out what my brand personality archetype would be. And it was actually surprising how different it was even from when I first started. So it became really evident that I did actually need to do a rebrand. So it is a bit wild. I actually just had a friend message me just before we jumped on this podcast saying, hey, so is it weird that I change like fonts every couple of months? And I said, yeah, you should be doing that. Like, oh no, you need to be sticking to the ones that I gave you. And then she said, oh, but I'm thinking about pivoting. Like, does that mean I need a rebrand? And then it got me thinking, what rebranding actually means, and when people should start looking at it. And I think both of you guys are a really good example there. So she's saying, I'm pivoting my business, I'm adding some different services that no longer align with what we're talking about here. So it could potentially be a whole new rebrand in regards to a new name and everything. And then with yourself, it's the target audience and the messaging, and everything has changed because you've evolved. So you started doing one thing and now you're doing something similar, but like your audience has changed because you figured it out as you went along. So I feel like that's a really good kind of indication to be like, okay, well, my messaging is no longer aligning with the type of people I want to bring in, or my sales have become stagnant, or I'm no longer converting because the people I'm trying to obtain aren't actually in my sphere because I still have all the old people there, right? And then also, I guess aesthetically as well, it would make sense, because if your messaging isn't tied into it, then your old aesthetic is there. You're not going to bring in the type of people that you want to anyway, since we're all visual people. We have to, we all judge each other by like the first 3 seconds. So aesthetics do matter. Oh, it's very true. If I could go back and tell my old, startup business self what to do, I would 100% be saying, get your brand right from the start, or invest in a brand, because people do judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
and they're going to look at you and decide whether they want to work with you straight off the bat very quickly, just based on your logo, your branding, your fonts, whatever. If you look professional, or if you look the part in terms of what they're looking for, they're definitely going to reach out and at least put an inquiry in with you. And if you don't look professional and they don't have some kind of relationship or referral with you already, referral from someone else about you already, then it's very unlikely that, you know, you may get that lead unless you have some incredible offer that is really irresistible.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, even myself, though, my own like business, the evolution that I've gone through as well, because I've been trying to figure out my own path and what I want to do and who I want to serve. So if you look at my Insta from when I first started to like
That's
6
funny.
months later to like a year later, like it just changes so much. But then once I finally sat down and was like, because when I started my business, yes, I do branding, but I didn't have the time to do my own because I was so busy trying to get clients in. So when I had the time to really reflect and go, who do I want to actually target? Who do I want to serve? Who I want to actually work with and who enjoys working with me, then that's when I sat down and did my own strategy, and I was like, okay, well, this is what I want to do. And now if you see my Instagram, it's significantly different.
It's so different.
It's so different.
And I think, to be honest, we're all in the same boat. Like, I think everyone is somewhat, I don't know if embarrassed is the right term, or I don't know, like, I guess we all have to start somewhere, but I know I look back on mine and I'm like, whoa, it's just come so far. It's grown so much. I didn't even use branding in my social media to start with. I was just getting something up there. It was just a bit of everything, but now it's a lot more focused and specific to what I offer.
So I guess at the end of the day, though, like that's okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. But I think the takeaway message here is, if you're going to spend all this time trying to grow a business, you'll learn very quickly you need to invest in yourself and in the business in order for it to grow. Otherwise, it won't flourish. It's just a fact. So I think the longer it takes for you to realize that, the longer you'll take to get to your goal as well. So if you can somehow find the budget or learn how to properly DIY it, then I think that's where the gold is for you to start something very early and get to wherever you want to go faster than what potentially could be, you know, if you're just taking it the slow way, which is just DIYing, but like not thinking about the DIY, just being like, I like the color blue, and then just going, okay, well, my brain's blue, but why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Try and put a lot more research into the why behind what you're actually doing. And I know Lauren's got a lot of good freebies around different things that are that will help you in that area.
I do.
So check out her freebies page, because you will if you're building a logo or brand, I know there's a lot of like value on that page. What is the URL of that page, by the way?
It's www.geminicreativestudio.com.au/freebies.
May as well say it now while we're on that.
I'll pop it in the show notes anyway. But yeah, like I do have a bunch of freebies. One is actually on color and helping you choose a color palette and the importance behind colors. So that's a good place to start. But I love where you have started and where you are now. And I know that we've already started discussing the rebrand, which is obviously going to be a secret for the time being, but the difference between where you are and where it's about to take you is just phenomenal. I'm so excited for it because it's just so freaking good. Like, so good. Everything's so good about it. Oh,
I'm so excited too. I mean, when we got together, I guess I couldn't have imagined that it may have taken this direction, because I guess I just didn't even know how it could turn out. Like I did, but then it's like so exciting. You don't realize how exciting it is going to be, because it's almost like a new era for you and for your business. So yeah, I'm really excited to eventually talk more and more about that as it begins to evolve and we begin to put it more in place. But yeah, we're basically, based on the archetype, started selecting we've got the name, the logo, the colors down pat, and obviously there's a lot of strategy that's gone in behind that. that we already did before that.
Right,
But
yeah. I know,
So
I can't wait. So let's just go back and think about if someone was trying to look at rebranding, what do you like, what's kind of scared you initially about a rebrand? Like what was going through your mind that was making you hesitant?
yeah, so I think for me, what was making me most hesitant is I am very time poor already. And
Mhm.
I was literally mentally going through every single thing that I was going to need to change the color on, including documents, websites, social media profiles, you name it.
Yeah.
And I don't, if I'm going to change my brand, I literally want to change my website almost entirely as well, and maybe
Yeah.
even do a photo shoot. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of cost involved with that as well, but then there's also the time factor for me because I'm already so time poor.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. And I know that with what you do, you come alongside people and you help them change all that stuff.
I
So
do.
that is a huge
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, and I think I'm not too sure what that looks like with other designers, but I know that when I do rebrand with my clients, I do go through everything with you. So I actually change your marketing collateral for you. I help you change your social media. I do a lot of the time consuming stuff because I know that you don't have that time. And that's
Yes.
that's the whole purpose of it, right? So with your time poor already, why would I add that extra stress to you? So
Yeah,
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's really good.
I think that's a really good extra service to have as part of it because it is overwhelming. It isn't when you first start your business because you don't really have a lot of collateral to change. But
Yeah,
when you're more established, there's a lot, especially if you want to do a rebrand and change the website and everything and how everything
yeah.
looks. So
Or especially if you're a course
yeah,
creator like yourself, like you have so many like documents to change over because you've got
yes,
your webinars or the videos, you've got the actual collateral people get. There's a lot of stuff involved. So which is
yes.
why it's called a rebrand and not just branding. So
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that was probably the biggest part. And then also thinking of a name that accurately represents you and the direction that you want to take the business.
yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it was a challenge because I was trying to decide whether I was going to go down or take the direction of using a business name or my personal name as a
Mhm.
brand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was another one that was a big decision. But I
Spoiler
mean, my
alert,
name's
Nicki might be
hard.
changing her name.
I might have to change my name so it's not so if I want to go for a personal brand, so
That's
it's not
funny.
so hard to spell. So
Oh, that's so no. I think it's okay. But I think, yeah, like spoiler alert, Nikki may be changing her business name.
oh, whoops, I just realized.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So she may or may not be changing her business name.
Yeah,
Um,
it's still TBA, but it's definitely on the table.
yeah, yeah. It is definitely on the table. And it's harder to say some things about it because it's just so exciting because like when we do launch or relaunch Nikki's brand and like the reasoning behind what we're doing is just so powerful and empowering, so it's
Oh, I love
exciting.
that.
Yeah, and
Thank you. Yeah, that's exciting.
I just think it's going to be a really good way to show people the journey of what it actually looks like. You're the perfect case study because it's like this is where you started, this is what you did, and now you're rebranding, and this is what's involved and what and why you've done it. So I think it's just really great for people to see and follow your journey.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think it probably is a good one to use as an example because I think there would be a lot of other similar people, even that started their business when we did that, would be on a somewhat similar journey, even though it's unique in their own right.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it will be cool to see the change, and I think it'll be a great move for the business and in the new direction that it takes.
I agree. I agree because everything's changing and it's just so good. So good. Well, okay. So that's kind of the kind of the process of like how Nikki felt. So when she first started her business, how she felt when like what was the most important thing, and then how that pivoted and changed over the course of the 5 years and where she is now and why she has decided to rebrand. Because she wants to position herself differently, and she has evolved drastically over the 5 years. So it's really good to see that evolution and where you started, where you're going, and beyond. And I get to be a part of that, and that's pretty exciting too.
Oh, no, I'm so excited that you are a part of it and that you helped give me the push that I needed. I think you were telling me for a while I needed to do it, and then I just woke up one day and I was like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Don't let me take it back.
Yes,
but
and
I'm
I didn't.
excited to see that unfold. Yeah. I think you booked in a meeting with me that week.
I did.
So
Listen,
I'm excited to see.
there's no fart assing around here. You make a decision, you get it done.
Yeah, and then you made me fall in love with it, so that I couldn't go back anyway. But yeah, it's exciting even for me to see it, or how it will all unfold. I guess there's still a lot of thought that needs to go in around like the launching. But yeah, I mean, but once I get this, once I've like launched the SEO Made Easy next month, then yeah, we'll get into it, and I'm sure it'll unfold before the middle of the year.
Yeah, exactly. How exciting. So let's just really quickly recap on those in February. What's SEO Made Easy? How people can find that, just so we can throw that out there as well for people. Yeah.
So we'll touch on SEO in our next podcast next month. But essentially, I run a SEO program, and I teach you how to get ranking in Google so you can get to the top positions and then start getting more traffic to your website and grow your leads and sales on autopilot. So if you're looking for a free way to get more traffic to your website, then this is exactly what I'll be teaching in SEO Made Easy, which is a 6-week program kicking off in February. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yes, definitely do, because Nicki has helped me with my SEO and it has made an incredible difference. So yeah, it's all just the process, but like it's really important to get your branding and get your SEO done. So
exactly. If you're looking for one place to focus your marketing, it's definitely the place in 2023. So if you're not getting an ROI from social media and you just don't even know where to start with your marketing because you've got shiny object syndrome and there's so many options on the table, SEO is a great place to start, because once it's implemented, you're basically getting leads and sales to your website on autopilot, because basically the people that are searching for what you offer are being matched with you. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. But
it's like a dating service for business.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only one where you get people coming to you as opposed to you doing the stalking and going after them.
Yeah, exactly right. You get the pretty profile picture and everyone just has to find you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You just like you stay there and look pretty and people will come over. So get Lauren to make you look pretty and then I'll get people to come find you.
Yes, I love that. That's hilarious. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Nicki, for coming on again. We're looking forward to next month when we talk about SEO. If you have any branding questions, obviously you know where to go. Hit me up in my email. It's hello@geminiCreativestudio.com.au. Nicki will have her details in the show notes as well, so you can follow along her journey and watch her rebrand come to life.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.